Think outside the box, if you will. I mean, go there, go off campus. Let's think this through. And sure enough, that's where the Mustang was born. When it finally hit, it took the country by storm.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cars in Context. I'm your host, John Clor. You know, this is the Motor City, and this is the show where we put cars into the context of your everyday life. We love to celebrate our rich automotive heritage in this town and in the Grosse Pointes, but we will make no apologies for our decidedly Detroit perspective. And that's exactly what you're going to get today, is some real Detroit perspective, some that you may have not possibly seen before. This is new stuff. This is some of the latest video. You recall a while back, we did a show on Detroit's heritage. We showed you a video from back in the 50s and the 60s of us growing up and how Detroit got its reputation. Well, today we're going to look at some new video put out by the Detroit Auto Show people, the North American International Auto Show group, plus a new video about Detroit's attraction, and about the new rediscovered Detroit, a comeback city. And to take us through that, as well as all the other wonderful things we have planned for you today, we've got none other than Chris Sawyer of the virtualdriver.com. Chris, you're back.
Well, you invited me, so
I know,
of
but
course
they said after that last show you just never will come back.
No, that was after my bump to my head.
Well, no, that was. Listen, by the way, Chris, I have to thank you. I think the auto show this year. You know, I went back and I looked at the last auto show from the previess year, and a lot of the things we were talking about was right spot on. So thanks for being.
And you doubt me?
Thanks for doing that show sober.
Well, it's about time I did one sober.
Just kidding. But no, Chris, the facts that there are now videos out that are portraying Detroit in a much better light is kind of surprising after we get bashed all the time in the media.
Well, yeah, but we spent years of feeling sorry for ourselves, and we were the ones that did it to ourselves. So, hey, about time somebody else did it for us.
Well, it's going to be fun looking at those videos and maybe and seeing where the rest of the world is going to be able to see. But before we do that,
it's the news.
Yes, right. We have to find out what's in the news. Chris, I'm going to take this first one because that's what it says here. It says, John, take this first one.
You always do.
Okay.
It's your show after all.
This one, you know, I like to bring in, you know, we think that the whole auto industry just revolves around Detroit, but you know, there's a whole other world of cars out there, and part of it is in China. That's right. The folks that bring you your favorite dollar store and also making cars. Well, we got a report out of China, the Hurun report. Now, it says they expect that the Chinese auto industry, especially in luxury autos, so all you folks who are out there driving your Mercedes, your Lexus, your Lincoln, your Cadillac, all your fine, your BMWs, guess what? They think that the luxury automobile market will be the largest, not here in the U.S., not in Saudi Arabia, but in China. And by 2016, China's luxury market will surpass everything we have here in the States. Can you believe they'll sell more luxury cars there?
Sure.
Where do they get the money? Oh,
the dollar store. Government.
Oh, okay. Well, that's so that is, if that's not scary enough, consider what's going on south of the border.
Taco Bell?
No, that's the south of the border. That's the, down in Mexico, word is out that GM plans to spend $3.6 billion. That's with the B, Chris. Billion.
Usually is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Over the next 4 years to modernize and expand their production facilities down there, and the investments, in addition to the $1.4 billion that they already spent in the last couple of years, just combining all these investments to make General Motors the largest automotive exporter in Mexico.
You know why?
No, why?
Under the NAFTA agreement, Mexico got a pass. And so they don't, if you import a car from Mexico to Europe, say, you don't have to pay a tariff. If you do from the U.S., you have to pay a tariff.
Because they don't like us, and with them, they get free nachos. They get free nachos.
And the other thing about the Chinese luxury market being so big is that means the tail's going to start wagging the dog. Already, Buicks are being designed for China.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Ford has talked in the past of Lincolns being designed for China.
That's something we have to watch.
And the thing that you really got to watch for is the Chinese don't understand automobiles, and for them, they wanted to have it electric, smooth, no shifts, no nothing. So we're going to have very bland cars.
Chris, give me some good news.
I don't know about that, but I'll give you some news.
Okay.
State Farm recently released a new smartphone app called Car Capture.
Oh, is there an app for that?
It is. It works with both Apple and Android phones.
Okay.
If you see a car you're interested in,
Yeah.
you take a picture of the back of the vehicle, and Car Capture provides you with all the info about the vehicle.
Well, you take a picture of the car.
I'd like to try this out and see how good their database
Wait a minute.
is.
Wait a minute. You take your smartphone, you take a picture of the car, and then.
It tells you all about the vehicle. Also shares reviews, the market value, and even dealer locations from Edmunds.com. Oh, these have to be new vehicles.
Oh, well,
yeah,
that's,
I know a whole bunch of cars I could take pictures of. They go, what?
What is that?
Naturally, State Farm will provide you with an insurance quote
Oh,
for that
sure
car.
they will. Oh, that's why they give you the app.
Of course. Yeah, oh, that only costs you $700 a year.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
And you get it, the app free from iTunes or Google Play. Now, why can't I get my insurance free? Pay for
Well, wait, State Farm, is that the one that goes, oh, you had $1. You had to be quicker than
Yeah,
that guy?
exactly.
I like that guy.
The guy,
I like
see
that
it,
guy.
you see it right now, the guy will pop in the room.
Yeah, that's really well, listen, I have to worry about that because that app won't work on my flip phone.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't have one, so.
And speaking of cool things, folks, you heard about Jeep. I mean, they're selling like crazy. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
They're really pushing
Good
the market.
reason.
And they have this thing called trail rated.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you lend it to your kid and then they came back like you did a lawn job on some days. That means they really can go off road. So listen to this. The new Wrangler, not only is the new Wrangler trail rated, so is their sound system. So guess what?
Well, I would hope so.
They teamed up. Jeep teamed up with Alpine. You guys know the Alpine name. They made great sound
Yeah.
systems over the years. They equipped the 2015 Wrangler with an 8-speaker system and a subwoofer. And to test it, you know what the engineers did? They put it underwater.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a Jeep after all. It
I know,
will
but
be
they
underwater.
they put the speakers underwater. And the
So how does it sound?
in the water, yeah. I don't know. And they submerged the system to make sure that it still worked. Oh God! And they also said since Wranglers sometimes they take the canvas top off.
Most of the time the top is off.
Yeah, so they tested the system so that it actually you can hear it while you're driving down the road at 90 miles an hour in I-94.
The trouble is when you stop at the light, everybody can hear it.
Wow! So that's how far your car companies go to test the sound system.
Well, it makes sense.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, as long as it wasn't a techno music.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. The U.S. traffic deaths are continuing to fall.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought we'd.
Traffic deaths have dropped by a quarter since 2004, and the trend has continued through 2013. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says road deaths fell 3% to just over 32,700. Surprisingly, the number of accidents was actually up a bit, but the number of people injured or killed fell, which means that the cars are becoming safer.
So we're having more accidents.
Actually, you know what that means?
No, what does it mean?
It means that we're starting to get through the financial problem, and people in the lower end of the market who have been holding on to their older used cars are buying the newer used cars.
Right.
And they now have ABS and airbags, and
They're safer.
We'll have to see how the Takata business affects this.
Yeah, I should say so. Well, listen, speaking of tech and speaking of things that we love to talk about on the show, which is technology.
Usually us, but
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, that's the way we are. There's a new study out that says consumers are willing to pay for these new gadgets in their car. You know, you've been watching our show a long time, I know, and you're saying, do people, remember the show we did? It's called Do Buyers Really Want Tech? Do they really want it? Or are they just like, God, how do I figure out? I need 20 minutes to figure out how to turn the radio on.
they want it only to be able to brag to everybody. Look what I've got in my car.
So lame.
Yes.
Anyway, so it says this new study, Harris poll, right? And they worked with AutoTrader to find out the study. It said that most people, respondents to the poll, would pay $1,500 extra for this new safety unit. I'm just saying, crazy. I don't kill the messenger.
You know how you tell? You know how you tell if that's real?
How?
When they go to buy the car and they go, "What?
Right,
That
okay.
doesn't-
All
Oh,
right.
no, I'm
You
not paying for
say
that."
in the poll that you would pay $1,500, but when you go to that dealership and they go, oh, what the heck is how come it's so much?
Is that the same poll that said that Romney won in 2012?
No, it was hanging Chad poll.
Ah,
Chad
okay.
poll? Was it?
Tadpole.
Tadpole, okay. So anyway, yeah, that's craziness, isn't it? But there's more craziness. You know what we like to do on this show, folks? We like to invite you to test your knowledge and skill. Remember, our motto is knowledge is power, right?
Oh, is that it? I thought it was open 24 hours.
No, that was, why do I have to keep reminding you? Listen, so what we're going to do, it's car trivia time. This is the time when we give you a trivia question, and then we have you test yourself, and we'll come back after the break, and we will give you the answer rather than, wait around till next week.
Wait a minute. Didn't our motto used to be, we're not happy till you're not happy?
No, that was, don't worry, be happy? No, isn't it a room without a roof? No, that's Pharrell. Okay, listen, anyway, so this one is so easy, a caveman could get it. I hated that commercial too. It was degrading because some guy said that I kind of looked like that caveman guy when I had a beard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here's an easy one, folks.
That was
This is
me.
the trivia question. I know you're going to get it. Don't even bother looking this one up. When we come back after the break, you're going to say, "Oh, I'm so smart." Okay, here's the question. When was the 1 millionth,
With an M.
with an M, yeah, most of them are, Ford vehicle produced? The 1 millionth Ford. Think about Ford, incorporating in 1903. How long did it take them to build 1 million cars, right? Mm-hmm. And you'll be surprised at the answer if you don't know it, but you should know this. So we'll give you that answer. Then we're going to come back and put Chris in the driver's seat. We're going to make him watch these videos, and he's going to give us his little spin on that right after this. Hi, and welcome back to Cars in Context. I'm your host, John Clor. Today, we're talking to Chris Sawyer of thevirtualdriver.com. Chris, you did it again. You showed up.
Yeah. A couple of days ago, we wouldn't have been able to.
No, that's right.
13 inches
WMTV
of
was
snow.
snowed in, but
Yeah.
this is the dedication we have to make sure that our car audiences get the very latest and the best. And speaking of the best, what's the best information we can give them? It's trivia, because that really is fun, right? Don't you love trivia?
No, because my brothers always beat me at it,
My brothers too.
especially Jim.
Mid-child, that's a problem. So this was the trivia question we gave you. I know you have this one. I'm just going to say it anyway. When was the 1 millionth Ford produced? The Ford vehicles are all over the world, the Model T. We put the world on wheels. How long did it take them to make 1 million cars? You know this one?
I thought I did when I answered it earlier. I was
pretty
off by
close.
5 years.
Oh, that's not too bad. The 1 millionth Ford vehicle rolled off the assembly line at the River Rouge plant on December the 10th, 1915.
Wow.
They built 1 million Fords by 1915. That's incredible.
When did the Model T go into production? Because that is no time.
It's really,
flat.
they just completely flew. Everybody bought Model Ts. It's so
And
cool.
when you consider how difficult they are to drive,
Yeah, you're right.
quite honestly, we should go over to Henry Ford
Hey,
and show you what it
Let's
takes
do
to
that.
drive
We'll
one of these
do a
things.
show. They do have the Model T museum up at, it's a Model A, but they have Model T drives at Gilmore as well.
Oh, yeah.
I always wanted to take Jeremy and
I
Lauren.
learned how to drive one, but
It's like Advance the Spark, or
Yeah, you have to throttle up,
my
and then
God.
you got three
It's a
pedals that
miracle
have
we even
nothing
drove
to
back
do.
then. Yeah,
Yeah.
but really cool stuff. But that really kind of put not only the world on wheels. Detroit really was the epicenter for all that stuff. And we've been called the Motor City, and years have passed, and since our automotive demise after the 70s when the Japanese invaded. It wasn't Pearl Harbor. I'm talking about the small car invasion.
We did it to ourselves.
We did, and we had a lot of foreign imports come in, flood the market. Detroit was no longer the epicenter.
Well, and plus,
factories spread everywhere.
we had a generational change such that people said, I don't want to buy what my parents bought. I don't want to have to buy American. I want to try something different.
Yeah.
And they're still trying something different.
Yeah, I remember my sister-in-law bought a Volkswagen Beetle with the little flower in it.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So was she at Baldock Park a lot?
She's kind of a hippie. Anyway, so
Those of you from Detroit will know what that
you
means.
hippies out there, you caused this problem. Jeez. So, but no, we did a show. Detroit's Heritage. Our heritage bringing us down, because we talked about the millennial show where Cadillac doesn't want to be in Detroit anymore. They want to be in New York, was where they'd rather stay.
Yeah.
Because
Well, remember when Volkswagen moved out of Michigan because, it wasn't Tony enough.
yeah.
Of course, that was the Jennifer Granholm years. I can understand
But
why.
who in Michigan wins the Tony Award?
Tony the Tiger.
Okay, that's great. So anyway, we wanted to tell you now that we saw that video. I got a lot of input from you, and I appreciated the fact that you enjoyed to see some of our heritage. And is it an anchor around, an albatross around Detroit's neck to have this Motor City, dirty, gritty, blue-collar city? Or is Detroit now heading in a new direction? So what we did today, Chris, we brought the 2 latest videos, one produced by the folks at NAIS, to talk about, you know, what the auto show has done for Detroit's image, right? And that's when we have, what, 5,000-6,000 journalists coming into town. And the other one is a new video put out by the convention center people, the people that want to show Detroit as a place where we want to draw.
Oh, you mean shooting videos like all the other cities do around the world that
Make
make
it
you
look
sit there and go,
cool.
whoa, I want to go there. And then you get there and go, really?
Yeah, I went to Chicago to get the stuffed pizza, and that was it. Wow. Yeah, so first we're going to show this one. It's called 100 Seconds of Pure Detroit. It was produced by TVS and 77 Productions, and they previewed it over at Studio 25. It's put together by the Auto Show folks, and this is just shows you a little bit of Detroit. It shows you a little bit of our automotive history, and then ends up with what the show has done to put Detroit on the map. Let's take a look at this 100 seconds.
Sounds good.
Okay. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, Chris. We've been to a lot of the auto shows. I started covering them back in '88.
I covered the first
when it
North
was
American
first
International Auto Show, yeah.
When we were at Auto Week, and to see the show progress as a true international show. And now when you go there, you know, half the journalists don't speak English. They're truly a global auto show. This is their first exposure to the city, and to see that video, you know, where we've been, we've really grown as an international destination.
And I'm really, in some ways, disappointed because that video is so much better than what our local television stations do when they cover the auto show.
Yeah, why don't
I know how hard TV is. You know, I mean,
because of Cars in Contact.
Well, no, you're just difficult, but it's more a case of there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's like 3 hours for every couple of minutes
This
that
stuff
shows up
doesn't-
on TV.
Yeah, this doesn't grow on trees. I mean, yeah, you got to write this stuff.
But it's the same old stuff, you know, and that is so well done and so well planned, and it makes it really catches what it's all about. It's a little tough for us because, you know, we've been doing this now for 30 years.
When you're in it long enough, sometimes you become jaded.
What did we do this year? What did we do? We didn't go to any of the press conferences. We just kept walking around.
Stood around the back
and we just stood and
watched.
said, yeah, okay, and bored, go.
Yeah,
Let's go look at what we want to look at.
Well, I mean, okay, so I like that, and maybe it is what the foreign press sees when they come to Detroit. Maybe Detroit's got this industrial edge, but let's take a look at another video. Now, this one is they're called the Detroit Comeback video, and this will, folks, if you haven't seen this yet, this may give you a whole new perspective on the comeback city. Let's take a look at this. Well, was that a comeback video or not?
Anybody who thinks they know Detroit wouldn't know what they were looking at there.
And, there's certain things we do. Belle Isle never looked prettier. The airport is a great. You remember we used to fly into Detroit? People say your airport's terrible.
Our airport was worse than the worst Kmart in the smallest podunk
It
town.
was bad.
I mean, your shoes would stick to the floor. It
Yeah,
was so
but
bad.
now we have one of the nicest
Well, I
airports.
mean, it was $1 billion that Northwest put into that place, and
Yeah.
it was in all their commercials. And you know how good it is? That Delta, to this day, uses it in their commercials. That every time you look at those commercials,
Yeah.
90% of the airport shots were shot in Detroit.
Yeah, when you fly, folks, and you come into Detroit, you kind of appreciate this town. So that might give you a whole new look on what Detroit's about. And I think,
You know who would really probably get a kick out of all this is a certain Japanese automaker, former head of PR, who used to always pull me to the side and say, "What's wrong with Detroit, man? How much money do you get in taxes in this state? And it looks like this.
Yeah.
I mean, the airport is great, but that drive into the city is horrible." Yeah, we're working on it.
yeah, and that's why you watch the news every night and you get beat up seeing the tough parts of town. But that was very encouraging. But now it's time to shift gears, and we're going to show
Ooh,
them.
I like manual transmission.
I know you do. And now we're going to show them. It's time for Pick of the Week. This is when you send me a photo, and sometimes I laugh, sometimes I cry, and sometimes I just, we can't put that photo on television, and I get rid of it. No, this time I've got a photo. Actually, it's a series of 3 photos. I don't know if you've seen this. Folks, sometimes the car companies like to advertise in unique ways. And part of it is, I don't know if you've been to a basketball game or a hockey game or somewhere where they make a little blimp of something and they fly it around during intermission.
Yeah, it looks just like the product.
Yeah. So there was at the Blazers game recently, one of the dealer groups there put together a blimp of this little cool car, and it was I think it was a Ford Edge, and they inflated the blimp and it was flying around, but then they had a problem. The blimp had a malfunction.
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh, the blimp, folks.
Oh, the humidity.
Yeah. So let's take a look here. These are the first 3. We'll do these in 3 seconds. Okay, here's the blimp. Now, as you can see, it's flying around the arena. Look, everything's fine. Oh, look up there, honey. Isn't that cute? It's a blimp. Now, this next picture, the blimp, see, it's not supposed to aim down towards. So if you're
is it on a strafing run?
The blimp is coming at me.
I think it's actually on a strafing run.
Yeah, it's
Looks like those World War II movies.
Okay, now let's go to the last picture here. Oh, right in the seats. Right in the seats. All right, so that's what happened. Thanks for sending that in. Now, apparently, there are some more videos. Some people have taken these photos on their phone, and when they tried to get rid of the blimp, they couldn't deflate it, had to jam it down. Thanks for sending that in. If you find a picture you'd like, send it to me, Clor at carsandcontext.com, and we'll put that as Pick of the Week. But there's something else. We had not Pride in My Ride. Yeah,
Okay.
This is the time when you, the viewer, send a picture of your car and you tell me why you have pride in your ride. And this viewer is a very special viewer. He works here at WMTV. Every once in a while, we see Tom Amore, and he's in the studio all the time. He's hanging out. In fact, Tom's out there. Hi, Tom. Tom, thanks for sending this picture. Tom I really love this story.
You do
Here's a
realize
picture.
Tom is ignoring you right
Tom,
now.
yeah, Tom knows spitballs. They'll see spitballs coming on the air. Tom, this is Tom. He's lived in Grosse Pointe Woods for 60 years. This is his 2001 yellow Mustang GT convertible. That picture was taken at the War Memorial. See the background? Yeah,
I think he needs to get out a little more.
Tom said he took the delivery in June of 01. His 20-year-old son, when they got the car, believed it was going to be his.
No,
So
really,
yeah,
he's a 20-year-old son.
Yeah, so he commandeered this Mustang as his babe magnet, and for about the next 6 years. And about the 3rd winter in, he came to Tom and said he couldn't get up the driveway in a 2-inch snowfall in the Mustang, even with traction control. So
tires are everything.
So he said, "Here, Tom, you can have the Mustang back." And so Tom has had it now. He went out and bought a new Fusion. But the yellow Bumblebee Mustang went back to Tom. He had 75,000 miles on it when he got it back.
No? Okay.
And now, but the problem Tom says is he has 5 grandsons. Who's going to get it? Who turns 16 first with 5 grandsons?
You know what the answer to that one is? Whoever can come up with the money first.
That's right. So Tom, thank you for sending that photo. And if you have a photo that you'd like to show on Pride of My Ride, send it to me, Clor at carsandcontext.com, and we'll put you on the air. But there's even more.
I know, because she's moving.
That's right. Now it's time when Lauren Parrott of WMTV comes up and she checks the Cars and Context mailbag, and I hope to geez that she's got something. Lauren, please tell me you found some mail.
Praise the Lord.
I did.
You found mail again?
Thank you. Thank
Lauren,
you.
we owe you so much gratitude for this. You found the best 2 pieces of mail. In fact, I love it so much, I'm going to give it to Chris.
Okay.
Chris, you take the first one, okay?
Okay, this one comes to us from Bill E.,
Okay.
not to be confused with Billy, of Grosse Pointe Park, who watches Cars in Context on Comcast Cable Channel 915.
You know what that means, don't you?
HD. He's a roller.
Yeah.
Dear Chris, saw your shows from the NAIAS, otherwise known as the Detroit Auto Show,
Yeah.
and wondered why you don't share your insights on all the new models.
What?
Really? People want to hear my insights? Okay, anyway. I was interested in the new Toyota Tacoma, but you didn't review it in your truck trends and utes coverage. How do you decide what to cover at the auto show? That's a really good question. When I first started doing this, I covered everything, just ridiculously,
Yeah, remember we walked and
ridiculously.
walked
And granted, now I've got the internet, which is infinite, but the Tacoma didn't come out on the coverage because it's more a refresh and an update than anything, and quite honestly, we ran out of time.
All right, I guess, Bill, that you're telling us you want 3 shows about cars from the Detroit Auto Show. I think I will ask Lauren and Jeremy, but I think we could do 3 shows. There's enough content there. And we did this year we did 3 shows, but we went downstairs and watched that 3D
Only if we all get our own Parrott mobile.
Yeah, yeah. And ask Lauren.
We're going to be
driving
styling through the aisles.
All right, that's a
that
good
day.
question, but I have a really cool one. This piece of mail comes to somebody we know. This comes from Joe Babias of Grand Blanc, Michigan, who watches us on AT&T Uverse.
Joe, really?
Yeah.
Are you
Joe
that
sends
bored?
Joe sent in this letter to the show. He said, John, I watched our first Packard plant show on Cars and Context TV on YouTube, and I was happy to see that the great-grandson of Alvin McCauley, the president and chairman of the board of Packard, watched the show about a month ago and said in the comments on Cars and Context TV on YouTube, here's what he said: great video and narrative. How cool is that? That just was the greatest compliment.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for watching us here today, and thank you for watching us on Cars and Context TV on the YouTube channel. And Chris, thank you for coming in today.
Oh, you're welcome, John.
I appreciate that. And you know, you can watch and listen to Chris Sawyer here on Cars and Context just about every week, but he does have the virtualdriver.com, the best automotive blog in all of the internet. And until next time, remember that our motto is knowledge is power. I've been your host, John Clor, and thanks for watching.